I feel as if my clearest path to victory in both of those fights would be to get him to the ground. I've held my space, if not won, against every fighter in the world. I don't even think Tom really knew which eye was supposed to be more compromised. He just knew that he had been fouled and it was his way out. I really have gotten to a point in fighting where I feel as if I'm in a position that I have a lot more to lose than to gain. When I found fighting, I realized that I had an opportunity to be great at something. You know, there was fighters that thought, man, he should have never made it this far. I love proving those people wrong.
All right, welcome back to the Black and Yellow podcast, sponsored by Ketone IQ. We are back in popular demand. Thank you for breaking the internet with me, John. How are you doing?
My guy, it's good to see you, Geoff.
I guess let's start from the top. You, back in April, this was 6 months before Tom basically no contested through eye pokes from Cyril Gane. You saw that, pretty controversial ending, right? Like, of course, eye pokes, not very, no one wants to be poked in the eye, but a lot of UFC fighters have powered through that situation. Curious your take on that, and then also just your thoughtfulness. I think the internet really saw that you were super strategic in being able to see Tom tapping out when he was younger, but still a professional athlete with a very, very weak knee bar, sort of like an ankle pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did that translate into you seeing that, hey, maybe this guy is much weaker in terms of the mental game than popularly understood?
I feel like he's like a bully fighter. He's a great fighter. He's put in the time. He's put in the work. But I think one thing that happens when you haven't had the octagon time, you find yourself getting ahead in the rankings without proving a lot. There's like a lot of fear in the unknown. And I feel as if the same way it could be more challenging to fight against someone where you don't know much about him, there is maybe a tougher layer of skin that Aspinall hasn't developed because of how short his fights have been.
Yeah.
I go back and I start with every fight. I watch as much as I can find on a person, their reason why, their motivation, who gave them their black belt, things like that. All this stuff is very important to me. I just noticed with Tom that he has taken losses in the middle of his career. He's started fighting at a really young age, but he's also getting tapped out at a really late age in his career. When I was 23 years old, I was fighting the top guys in the world. I'm seeing Tom Aspinall around that same age, getting manhandled by people that no one's ever heard of. So that alone shows me a little bit more about what's behind the facade of this whole Tom Aspinall character. So I've seen him tapped out twice. I watched the Curtis Blaydes situation where he looked like Curtis Blaydes came to beat Tom Aspinall up that night. Curtis was confident, came right at Tom. He was landing great strikes, level changing. Tom throws a kick and magically gets hurt. Blowing your knee is blowing your knee, right? But I would expect a fighter that blew his knee to at least attempt to stand back up or at least limp or at least try to walk on it. And with Tom, he was just completely just out of the fight. These are things that I'm paying attention to. And his last situation with Cyril Gane, he gets poked in the eye. Normally you see fighters that are doing this number or trying to get the doctor to look at it. And actually, initially, the doctor's just like, he seems fine.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, no, I can't see.
I can't see. And the ref was like, hey, don't say that. Take some time.
The guy wasn't trying to see. Yeah. The guy didn't want to see.
He was covering his eyes, like, I can't see.
And then another thing was like, the eye that he was covering appeared to be the eye that actually didn't get penetrated.
Yeah.
One eye finger goes all the way underneath the eyelid. The other eye, it was on top of the eyelid. And he ends up grabbing the eye where the finger was on top of the eyelid. So I don't even think Tom really knew which eye was supposed to be more compromised. He just knew that he had been fouled and it was his way out. So, I still think Tom's an amazing athlete. I think he's a great fighter. The recon is really important. Having information on what you're going up against is really important. And I feel like time is on my side to figure out who this opponent is. Yeah. And if we still fight, it'd be awesome. If not, I don't
it's
really
still
feel
awesome. You don't need him.
I don't feel like I need him, especially after his last performance. I think time will show the world kind of who I am and what I've done. And just because someone's newer or maybe more exciting doesn't mean that they replace what is already here.
Yeah. I want to just go into some of the legacy. We were just watching some of your highlight reel, and it was just, I think it still just astounds me that you were dropping Lyoto Machida like a sack of bricks. Like, you were knocking out Shogun, who you were stopping Rampage Jackson, right? Like, these are some of like the OG legends of the sport that built the sport up, and you're taking them out when you're like early 20s.
Yeah.
But before diving into that and kind of like how you're thinking about the next fight and how to capstone off an amazing career, like even on the business side, which is probably more useful for a lot of young people trying to make it in their careers, is that I think so many people are just brittle. They have some fear or brittleness in terms of maybe failing, and they just tap themselves out.
Yeah.
I think people are so afraid to fail that they would rather just say, hey, there's an easy way out for me to give up, or say a doctor stopped it, or a boss is mean to me, or the market was bad, or COVID happened, so it's okay for my business to fail.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people just find an excuse to honorably quit.
Yeah.
And I think the best people are just like, fuck no, like there's no excuses to lose. There's no excuses to give up. So I think that read on people is so important as a business person or a venture capitalist, because you're just looking at people. Like life is going to punch you in the face and try to poke your eyes out. Like life is hard, right? We all have our struggles and battles. It might not be in the cage. Society, capitalism is trying to like run you down.
Yeah.
And like life's unfair. And you just want to see a dog in someone who are like, yeah, even if you get eye poked, you want to see a dog to be like, yo, like I'm just going to try to fucking kill him with one eye. Fuck it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like exactly what you're saying. I feel like that's where we are in society. Like that's why we have a world that we live in today with just a lot of young people that are just have no direction, and a lot of these young people that just seem so angry and just mad at the world. I think it is related to what you're saying about people giving up on their personal dreams a long time ago. Not a lot of people have much backbone anymore to get out there and earn things and not blame the system and not blame their parents and not blame this or that. Not many people have that anymore. It's much easier to hate on other people or just to have one of those really kind of poor attitudes. And I think that's why it's important for young entrepreneurs and young men like you and I, these different thinkers, to just continue to try to encourage people to strive for more and to dream high and to dream big and to realize that life is not over for them.
Yeah.
You just have to have that backbone. You have to be willing to bleed a little bit, to struggle for the things that you want in life. Yeah. I love what Dana says. He went viral recently for just talking about eating up the competition. He was just like, if you don't have that fight in you, like don't compete against me, because like I'm going to eat you alive.
Yeah, crush you.
I want to crush you. Yeah. And that's the attitude you got to have. You got to be willing to earn things.
Yeah, that's well said. Because I think when people say, "Oh, the next generation is really weak," well, that's more for me to eat. It's more for you to eat. That's more for you to eat. If you think your peers are weak, well, all right, prove that you're strong by dominating people, running people through.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious in terms of just the evolution of the sport. I just remember it was like very caricature Street Fighter type like characters popping up, right? Like you see GSP in a karate gi. You see Brazilian fighters in Brazilian jiu-jitsu gis. You see like Fedor Emelianenko in like a sambo gear. Rampage Jackson was wearing like literally like a chain link like dog chain, and now like everyone's kind of like in professionalized uniforms. Obviously a much bigger sport. It's like one of it's a ubiquitous sport now with a massive media rights deal. Do you miss it when it was like just straight up like almost WWE characters and people were just like Street Fighter characters?
Do I miss it? I appreciate every stage of the sport. MMA is becoming more professional, like you said, and monopolized in some situations too. Fighters don't really have that creative to say what they want all the time and wear what they want. There's certain brands that represent the organization where everyone just has to be uniformed. So I appreciate where we're going. I think the uniforms creates more money for a lot of these fighters. But there was definitely a lot of value back in the days where you could represent that local pizza shop or your local gun range or your local, that definitely did a lot more for the fans of the sport and for the up-and-coming fighters. But one thing I do really appreciate is even though we have to kind of dress a certain way and wear a certain uniform, I love that most of these CEOs, most of these bosses of these fight organizations gives us the freedom to say what we want. Whether we want to pick up the microphone and speak about religion or politics, we're never muffled in that way. We actually are given a platform, which I think is really important, almost more important than what we can wear. I think what we can say, still having that freedom is more important. Yeah. If we were getting that taken away from us, that would be more concerning.
Yeah, which I think has been the case for like the NBA and NFL players really can't say anything. Yeah. Right? So like that hopefully will never be the case, right? Like I think we're full red-blooded Americans. You got to say what you believe, First Amendment rights, right?
Yes.
But I think that's what are the most interesting humans in our society, in our culture. I think going back to Aspinall, like finding an excuse to quit versus like fighting through it, right? I think UFC fighters, champions like yourself are looked up to and honored in our society because it means that you're willing to sacrifice something for the victory, right? Like that's a very primal, he should be like the chieftain of our tribe type of a feeling. And I think that's going back to like the norm coring of athletes. Like to me, like the most interesting athletes today are the most character people, right? I think Alex Pereira to me is like a superstar because he's a character. He looks like a indigenous American war god with his like face paint and like feathers and everything.
Yeah.
And he's got like that bow and arrow, like shooting people with the bow. Right? He just seems like a character. Like he like that's like a Street Fighter character.
Yeah, that is a character. I wish he would say more. You know,
yeah, I mean, I think if he can speak English and talk shit, he'd be even bigger star.
Yeah,
but,
he would be massive.
Yeah.
You know, he has the it factor. He's blessed in some way.
Yeah.
He just has it, and it really can't be taught. You know, you can't have a publicist that come and show you how to become someone like that.
Yeah.
There's just some people that people just get behind, and they don't know why they love them or they don't know why they hate that person, but some people just have that thing about them that just makes you want to pay attention. Guys like the Paul brothers and guys like McGregor, you know, that some people just have it from day one when they step on the scene. Pereira, literally, one of the only things he says is trauma.
Yeah.
And people are, trauma. No one even knows what it means.
Yeah.
But he has that it factor, and that's a part of the reason why I wanted to compete against Pereira. I felt as if the brand that he represents, the energy that he has behind him, will be remembered more than just 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Aspinall just had a close fight, and people are already writing him off.
Yeah.
His journey hasn't even started yet, and he's already almost moved on.
Yeah.
I feel like Pereira, fighting a guy like that, it would just bring so much more to the table for me.
It'd be the biggest fight in history type level thing. So Magic Wand, we're going to make it happen. You're headlining the White House card, Jones versus Pereira.
How cool would that be?
That'd be
Just to be a part of the White House card.
it'd be historic. It'd be epic. I'm going to go. I want to watch you knock Pereira out. I would love for you to predict Mystic John Jones.
Okay.
Break him down in terms of strengths, weaknesses. What would his game plan to do to take you out? And how do you implement your game plan? Like, let's break it down.
With Pereira, I would just have to be smart. I'd have to be really smart. I would have to use what's in front of me. The main thing, the biggest difference between Pereira and Aspinall is the level of footage that I have. Pereira posts everything, you know, every spar session. I have a whole kickboxing career to study from. I have a pretty decent resume in MMA to watch now to take things from. I feel like Pereira's really stuck in a certain way of fighting where he could really show. He has tendencies in his combinations, tendencies in his counters and in his defense, and it would be my job to find the holes inside of those tendencies, which I feel like I could.
Yeah.
I love the fact
Is your reach similar? Because you guys are about the same walking weight.
I would imagine my reach is slightly longer.
Okay.
I think one of the things that everyone's underestimating when it comes to our fight is my physical strength. I don't always look like the strongest guy around. I'm not like overly muscular, but everyone who wrestles me, they all say the same thing. He's just so much more powerful than I would have imagined him being. So I think that's where he punches really hard and kicks really hard. I think my grappling power and wisdom would be a lot for him to handle.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that would be the same scenario with Tom Aspinall. I don't think the UK wrestling system is as good as people think it is, and I don't think their jiu-jitsu programs are as good as people say it is. And where Tom is a lot physically bigger, probably take me a little bit more effort. I think it would be the same story if I got Tom to the ground as it would be if I got Pereira to the ground. So it's really to me, it's the same fight. It's the same fight. They both are strong on their feet, hit very hard on their feet, and I think they both have holes in the grappling department. So when you simplify it like that, now it's a more matter of legacy. What would make more sense?
Yep.
Do you fight the guy who is impressive right now, who no one I don't think is going to really care about a few years from now, or do you fight the guy who's going to be remembered
Yeah.
around the world for a very long time. I mean, in Brazil, Pereira is an absolute idol right now.
Pereira definitely keeps his chin up. Not stiff, but like he stands very straight and tall. But he throws bombs. He has a pretty solid chin, but he's been like knocked out by Adesanya is much weaker than you. That's probably safe to say, right? And
Adesanya punch. I'm not known to knock people out with my hands.
Yeah.
Adesanya, he throws bombs. You know, he throws bombs. Like I said, I really when you simplify Pereira and Aspinall and this whole Jones saga or whatever you want to call it, from my point of view, it's the same fight.
That's super interesting.
Whichever who I fight, it's really the same fight.
I think I can intuit because I feel like those guys have not dealt with someone who can level change. Basically, like you're like a very classic, complete MMA fighter who can strike, kick, and take down. You're basic, very friendly ground and pound. Like when you're just eating elbows to the face like that, just like and you're down, you just can't get up.
I think one of the things that people are also underestimating when it comes to my game is that I can display moments of speed when it's time to. Like for example, when I swept Stipe Miocic,
Yep.
I got behind him and swept him so quickly he had no clue what happened to him. Or there was a moment where I jabbed him in the face, and the jab alone almost knocked him out just from the speed. You know, when I decided when I want to get somebody down to the ground, when I decide I want to throw certain kicks, I can be really fast at times, and I don't think people give me credit for that. For example, everyone looked at Cyril Gane as being just as fast as Aspinall, if not faster. But if you notice, when I fought Cyril Gane, his speed didn't appear to be an issue whatsoever. So there's things that I don't get credit for that are there. I'm grateful that they're a part of my equations because when I do the math of why I should win, I give this old guy a lot of chances.
100%. Curious, so if you could manifest and just see the future, what does that ending look like? Do you think it's a decision, or you see a stoppage on ground and pound? You surprise them, you clip them at standing. Him being Pereira.
I feel as if my clearest path to victory in both of those fights would be to get him to the ground at some point, to strike with him like I know that I can. I've stood with every fighter in the world. Yeah. I've held my space, if not won, against every fighter in the world in kickboxing. So my goal would be to kickbox until I find my moment, to get the fight on the ground, go for a submission or go for a TKO. Another thing that I really am excited about is training with Gable Steveson. He's an Olympic gold medalist wrestler. As much as I coach him on the importance of setting up good takedowns, it's reassuring it to me subconsciously with the gift that I possess and being able to set up good takedowns and just have such a main weapon against my two possible opponents.
Yeah.
Gable's great for me to be around. He's 25, he weight lifts strong. He's
Olympic gold medalist, right?
Yeah, weight lifts strong. He's a swimmer. You know, he doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. All he cares about is MMA. And if you were to check our DMs, all it is ideas and philosophies and skills from other people and mindset things from fighters from the past and things like that. Like everything about our relationship is win driven. So yeah, there's a lot of good things going on in our team and in our corner.
Good. About a month ago, I was at Ivanka's house, and she told me that the White House fight card was her idea.
That's pretty exciting.
I mean, she basically was like sunning Dana. She's like, "Yo, this is my idea."
Don't sun Dana. Listen, when you sun Dana, it never works out.
I was like, the only person who could sun Dana is Ivanka.
Yeah.
So above my pay grade, I'll put it that way. What would it mean for you, and as a fan, as an American, to potentially headline that card? Like,
Jeff, it'd be
unreal.
Massive. It'd be so massive for me. It'd be so massive for me. Like, I really have gotten to a point in fighting where I feel as if I'm in a position that I have a lot more to lose than to gain. And that's just me being honest. That's not being a coward or whatever. That's just the truth. I'm almost 40 years old now in a combat sport, a very physical sport.
Yeah.
I have to do things that make the right decision, you know, and fighting just to continue fighting doesn't make sense to me anymore. I feel as if I can earn money outside of punching people.
Yeah.
And to challenge myself in that way means more to me now than to fight again. But to be at the White House is the reason why I'm out of retirement. It has nothing to do with Aspinall or Pereira or anybody. It was the White House. The idea of being a part of something so historical means more to me than a few extra $1 million or another win in the win column. Yeah. It means the world to me. I've never been to the White House. I've had many opportunities to go and visit the White House. I've never taken anyone up on it, but to compete there, to warm up inside of the White House, and to
Yeah,
walk
walk out
on.
through the Oval Office. Like what?
Yeah, I think they said it would be on the South Lawn.
Yeah, I think you would walk out through the Oval Office into the South Lawn.
It would earn me some major points with my friends too. I'm friends with some of our country's top military veterans, and I know that they would find it to be very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So for me, it's like some of my motivations aren't traditional anymore. I don't think I care about what most fighters would care about.
Yeah.
Most fighters wouldn't turn down $30 million. They just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My goals are different than other people's at these days.
Yeah.
And White House would be something for my personal bucket list that would just do me a lot.
Yeah,
of
life
good.
is short. It's like a video game, like checkbox. Like
Yeah.
this thing that everyone watch. I mean, because everyone's gonna watch that. Like the entire, it will probably be the most viewed thing.
Yes. Yes.
So
it means
like,
the world.
yeah, that would just be sick.
Yeah, it means the world.
I'm curious from a motivation perspective because I think a lot of young people, I'm sure, also ask you like, how do you stay disciplined? What motivates you to keep grinding every single day? Like, I think one of the answers that might not be politically correct is I think sometimes like just having an enemy that I hate, and I think this is like the very Michael Jordan type mindset. It's like even if like no one did anything wrong to me, I'm gonna just like make a story up
Create
where like
something.
I want to fucking destroy you. I think it's like actually very powerful. Like for me personally, like wanting to destroy someone else or is a helpful motivator to work really hard. But I've also had a case where it's like, and it might be for a different type of problem. Sometimes if it's like more of like a research or intellectual, like solving, like thinking through what AI looks like, I want to come from a place of play. Like, hey, I'm just like a kid playing with my Lego blocks. I want to build something. I'm just doing something for the fun of it. So I think there's like multiple emotions to channel for motivation. I can imagine for fighting, it's, again, I'm not a fighter, but I would imagine that like I want to go kill him because he's going to try to kill me first is probably like a motivating factor. But I'm just curious getting into psychology. There's a Pereira or an Aspinall or someone like that you're thinking about, like this guy is going to try to kill me and take away all my legacy.
Yeah.
Do you come into that with hate? Like I need to kill him because he's trying to take food from my kids?
Yeah, there's many different things, right, that draws me to do what I've done in the sport. I think for me, one of the biggest things was just the knowing that talent is one of the biggest things to waste, and I felt like I had an ability, and it was really up to me to do something with that ability. Throughout high school, I was never the smartest kid in the classroom. I was never the best kid on the wrestling team. I was never the starter on the football team. I was actually a little bit of an inverted kid. And, I was sung in the jazz choir. I was not one of the cool kids or popular kids. I was just a very middle of the road type of person my whole life. And then when I found fighting, I realized that I had an opportunity to be great at something. And I realized that, all the people that maybe would have counted me out or not pay attention to me, that I found something that would make them have to respect me or
so the chip on shoulder, you're like
see me that I was there, And now today, one of my greatest motivations is to continually prove people wrong of what I'm capable of. There's fighters that thought, man, he should have never made it this far. He drinks or he stays out late and he eats McDonald's. Why is he the champion?
Yeah.
I love proving those people wrong.
Yeah.
The people that are like, oh, well, he doesn't speak well enough or he doesn't do this way. No way he can go on and be this great promoter or be this reliable business partner. I love to prove people wrong. And so it's not a place of hate. It's more about earning respect and realizing that I'm a unmovable force that despite how you feel about me,
it's like watch me.
You have to.
Yeah.
You
watch
have to
me
see
succeed.
me exist.
Yeah.
You have to see me continue to smile and continue to move forward and to not be defeated easily. These are some of my motivations.
Yeah, no, and I think it's like probably helpful for a lot of young people to hear because I think it's like, I think that chip on shoulder is very consistent with all the greats. Like you need something to fight or prove people wrong because it is irrational / hard to wake up every day grinding.
It is.
It's easy to be like, I'm good enough because I think and as you said, like you're in a position where you don't need to do anything anymore. I feel pretty comfortable. I don't really need it. I have enough money and shit. Like I don't need to do anything. So that's why it's like creating an enemy or creating like something to prove to yourself or the world is very powerful. And I think in mainstream culture, it's like, hey, just be nice or like, hey, don't be competitive. Like it's just like,
screw that.
but that creates mediocrity because you're expecting mediocrity from people. So I think it's very important to have role models where it's like, no, you need to want to win. You need to want to prove people wrong.
Are you from a really successful family?
My dad was.
Were you like first generation?
And my parents were immigrants,
That's what I'm asking.
but I think my dad lived the American dream where he was getting his physics PhD at UCLA, dropped out to be an entrepreneur and made it in LA. But I think they also brought a lot of the immigrant mentality because my mom went through like the Chinese Communist Cultural Revolution where like when she was a teenager, she got like sent down to the farms to like learn how to be a proletariat farmer.
Wow.
Right. And like her parents were educated and they're teachers and like the educated people were kind of like being re-educated. So like for me, I have like the blue collar dog where it's like my ancestors, I'm sure all our ancestors had much harder lives than us, man. Like we got, the hardest thing I have to do is like talk to an angry lawyer. You know what I mean? Like I got to negotiate really well today.
So much opportunity.
I got to like outsmart some guy in a business deal where like no one's trying to kill me.
Are you the first millionaire in your family?
Or my parents did well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was the first one in my family, and I come from a long family of, I don't think people who dreamt big enough,
Yeah.
So there's another aspect to my success where I have to show my family that are still in rough situations that there's no excuses. There's no excuses.
Yeah.
And that's another one of my great prides of being like, you know what? I was never the most athletic. I was never the smartest. I was never this. I was never that. And I don't say these to beat myself up. This is just the way that I've felt.
Yep.
And to use the chips that I've been given and to maximize those chips, to do as much as you can with those things. That's another one of my really big just kind of inspirations in my personal life, just to show people, that it's not about how you were born. It's about the way you die.
Yeah. But this is so fascinating to me because I would say that most people would say that you're the consensus greatest of your sport, right? And I don't think it's like just look at your track record, what you've accomplished. But even then, you're still like, prove more. You have to have that irrational desire to win, right? Like Michael Jordan was the best in basketball, and he's so like, that guy looked at me wrong. Fuck him. I'm gonna crush him, right? Like I, if I could ball today, I would crush all these young kids. Do you see that parallel with that kind of hunger and desire to prove people wrong?
Yeah, just always just
But so when people say, "Hey, you're the best," because like we've gone out where people are just like, "I'm a fan, you're the best," like you're great with people. I think you accept the compliments very well, but like back of your mind, you're like,
there's more.
There's
more. I think some of my setbacks throughout my life has allowed me to not be satisfied yet.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, this guy, you're good at beating up people. But I feel like I have so much more to prove just as a man, as a human being. It's like, okay, man, my 20s and my 30s were great.
Yeah.
Somehow I became the greatest fighter in the world.
Yeah.
But that's not the measure of a man. The true measure is like, what type of person did you turn out to be?
Yeah.
How many people did you put on? How many other people did you allow for them to be able to have what they want in life?
Yeah.
How many lives are you changing? You were arrested several times throughout your 20s. How did you transform into the man that you are now as a 40-year-old, this man that is respected? And like that, to me, these things are what keeps me going now. It's just like allowing that character to catch up to the talent that I was able to achieve.
Yeah.
So those are the things: the businessman, the father, the friend.
Yeah.
Those are my new driving forces now. I feel like my ego is starting to die down as far as wanting to be the biggest and the baddest and the most macho guy on the planet. Like those things don't really mean as much to me as they used to. The person, that's the person that I'm learning how to love better and like just learning how to like play the game better. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, I think it's very insightful for people that aspire to achieve the mentality it takes, right? Because I think you're untouchable. You're a superhero to the average like 13-year-old kid. They just look at you like you're a demigod. Right. But I think when you're just opening up a little bit, just in the mentality and the mindset, it's like there was something that irrationally drove you to push more. Just don't stop. Even you achieve some level of success. And I think in business in Silicon Valley, I feel like a lot of people hit some level, make their first million or whatever. And it's like, it's good enough. But the greats are just like, no, like I can do more.
Oh, yeah.
I can do more. And that's what our culture needs more of. I want more people that want to aspire for more.
So, yeah.
I actually just wanted to drink one. Not even for the...
in the past, I was just so focused on being an athlete alone. You know, I didn't care about connecting with people. I didn't care about extending myself out or, sharing thoughts or anything like that. But with this supplement, man, it's really opened my eyes to even what's more inside of me already, because that's what it does, right? It brings out more of your ketones and what you already have within. Man, this supplement has just allowed me a different set of wings where I know that there's not too many situations that I can't handle being put into. I feel like it makes me more amped to just get after the day. I want more out of my day now.
Yeah. I mean, I think I love the Ketone IQ community because I think everyone wants more out of life. I think that's what probably binds what the Ketone IQ community stands for. It's like whether you want to be an AI researcher, you want to be an Ironman athlete, or you want to be a UFC champion. It's like all of these people share the same drive to have more out of life. And it kind of makes sense from a biological perspective because how ketones work is that you get more energy per unit oxygen. You get more energy per gram of ketone than any other substance that you can consume.
And then over time, right, you just, your natural levels will go up, right, will rise.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because it's like one of the few things on the market that's actually healthy for you
Yeah.
while helping you out in the moment, right? Most things that you can do to give you a quick fix or to give you a pick you up, it's going to make you pay later on.
Yeah.
Whether that day or in life, where this supplement you can take all day long.
Yeah.
You can feel great all day long and know that your natural ketone levels are improving, which just, it feels great.
Yeah, I mean, the research that I'm actually most excited about that our research lead, Dr. Lat Mansour, Oxford PhD, looking at the longevity benefits.
We got to work on the taste. We got to work on
A couple new flavors coming. But I think I should give you the OG prototype, which straight up tastes like freaking
terrible?
poison. What got me personally most excited about ketones was from a anti-aging longevity perspective. The most conserved metabolic pathway and gene expression for longevity is fasting. So like not eating calories. Mm-hmm. And that's mediated by a lot of the signaling from ketones. So when you're fasted, you don't consume any calories. Your body produces ketones naturally. So ketones actually mediate a lot of the genetic expression for the benefits of fasting and longevity. Mm. I think we're in an interesting era of society and culture where you have AI, superintelligence taking off, and then you have like the potential that maybe it's our generation that we could live to 150 or maybe forever. I don't have the ego that I think that I would live forever, but I would probably underwrite like a 10% chance that our generation, we can rejuvenate to a point where we're just like pretty static.
So what you're saying is that fasting could help create ketones and ketones can expand in your life. So what you're saying is that we may have found a fountain of youth.
Yes, if the transitive property holds, which is we know that fasting produces ketones. We also know that fasting extends health span and lifespan. So the big science question, which we're very optimistic around, is that ketones can expand lifespan. And that's what we're really focused a lot of our R&D efforts on.
This is some sci-fi type shit, really.
I mean, I feel like John Jones is like you are a sci-fi character of killing people. So we're both in sci-fi together, brother.
Oh, thanks, Geoff. It's funny. So most mornings I wake up just groggy. Groggy. My sleep's okay. Word selection, creativity, motivation, all these things, I just don't feel the same when I wake up in the morning. As the afternoon comes, the nighttime comes, I feel more like myself. I've noticed when I have a ketone, within 20 minutes, I'm back to that guy that I am at nighttime. What is in this stuff cognitively that it's making me feel so amazing?
Yeah, ketone IQ lights up your brain. So neurons love ketones. So there's actually done studies where you can look at what neurons preferentially use as fuel to have energy to process and actually think. Like neurons suck up ketones and burn them super efficiently. So it's really lighting up your brain, like your brain just like firing and just more energy in your brain.
And you would say this is like nothing like a energy drink or energy shot, completely different fuel.
No, caffeine works by blocking your tiredness transmitters in your brain. So your brain just doesn't sense being tired. So there's no added energy. You just trick your brain that you're not feeling tired. That's the difference between caffeine with ketones. Ketones actually are fuel for your neurons that are readily taken up and lighting up your brain cells.
So you're saying that caffeine are blocking transmitters, not actually giving you energy. What do you have to say to all those who love caffeine as part of their daily routine?
So, I mean, that's why we made the caffeine version of Ketone IQ.
It's my wife's favorite, by the way.
Yeah. So it's really a 1-2 punch, right? So you feel less tired from the caffeine blocking adenosine, but you're also getting the fueling from ketones themselves on the neurons. So you're getting an actual energy boost and you're masking tiredness at the same time.
And the caffeine is extract, I believe?
Yeah, it's from green tea.
Nice.
It's a green tea extract caffeine. I mean, honestly, if I want to feel super locked in, it's caffeine, ketones, maybe a little nicotine. I'm just like, I'm just on a different level. I'm just.
A little weed, Geoff?
That's too much. Too much.
That's going to counterbalance.
Too many substances.
So what's your stack, man? What do you take to get yourself just optimal performance? Maybe one of those special occasion days where you need to do a presentation or something. How would you do it?
Like the secret protocol for pure neuromaxing. This is how you become a genius in Silicon Valley. You have ketone IQ, push a little bit of caffeine, and have a little bit of nicotine. No smoking, no vape. Do a nicotine pouch that goes through your gums. You're neuromaxing. Brain's lit up.
That sounds fun. Maybe not something we try every day, but sounds like a good time for those special occasions.
All legal compounds, okay?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, what does your wife like about this specific flavor?
Well, before Ketone IQ, she was a heavy Starbucks drinker. Yeah. Every single day, espresso, that was her. And she just loves the way that it makes her feel. There's no crash. Her day starts the earliest in the house. She's a big part of the upkeep of the Jones household. Yeah. So she loves to wake up in the morning and start straightening up the house. And, breakfast is one of the first things on the menu. First of all, it's everybody's specific kind of meal plan and things like that. And then it's getting the girls to their schools, trying to figure out ways to tackle the day with me throughout the day. And she spearheads these things almost like a secretary would, I can just tell the days that she takes it, which is almost every day, because she's just one of the most high-functioning human beings that I have in my life right now. It's helped her out tremendously. I think she really loves the slight appetite-suppressing effect of her. As a woman, the girls like to keep their figure and things like that. So,
of course.
So it's just all wins for her. It's something that's helping her neurologically over time. It's helping her in her physique. It's helping her financially because, she's getting more out of me and our daily schedule. It's been a real game changer.
I think the appetite suppressant, the impact is actually something that I appreciate more and more. It's actually kind of crazy to me that essentially only 5% of American men are essentially not slightly overweight. Like the number of men that are 17% body fat and lower is like literally like 5%.
Wow.
And I think we're just trending more and more towards that direction where processed foods, constant snacking, weird ingredients in our food supply, pesticides, all of that stuff. I think all of us are just like keeping more fat on our bodies. When I think about fasting from a longevity perspective, sometimes on my most busy days, all I consume is ketone IQ. I don't eat anything.
Wow.
Like yesterday, for example, you didn't see me. I wasn't snacking on anything. I was just drinking ketone IQ because I just feel much lighter, much more focused, and much sharper if I don't consume any calories. So my stomach isn't digesting. I'm just injecting fuel into my brain directly. I mean, this is classic biohacking. I'm in a caloric deficit as I'm fasting, but I don't feel hungry. I don't feel hangry because ketones hit ghrelin and the appetite hormone. So I'm feeling satiety from the ketone pathway, but I'm in a caloric deficit, which is a really cool hack.
And you feel like you can maintain your strength?
I've done 7-day water fasts, right? So I think most of us have enough calories stored in our fat, in our glycogen, to be able to power through a day, right? Like I'm not fighting, I'm not running a marathon.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur by background. So like my most intense things are like phone calls or meetings. So I don't need a crazy caloric dump.
Change the topic, but what are some of the things that the fans of Ketone IQ could be looking forward to? Are there going to be any jails or new flavors, new openings, new countries? What are some of the best things that we got going on?
All of the above, honestly. I mean, we'll have you try some of the new flavors.
All right.
That's really exciting. I think new form factors is also really, really exciting for us. We had special limited edition gel packs that we launched with Team Visma Lisa Bike, which is the best Tour de France team.
How they do? The gels.
Yeah, really, really popular. So I think we're looking at how do we bring that back in a proper format.
Why the gel? Was it just for portability?
Yeah, it's like much more portable in terms of it's kind of like a paper, like a flask thing.
Mm-hmm.
Part of this is like rigid versus
Right.
like just loose.
Something you could throw in your back pocket
Yeah,
on a bike.
exactly.
You had good
Exactly.
feedback from the bikers?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because like you can just like also like tear it with your mouth, like
One-handed.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of our most recent exciting partnerships is partnering with Target, launching
huge.
2,000 Targets
exciting.
nationwide. I know there's some crazy statistic for like 90% of Americans are within some driving distance of Target. So literally go to your local Target, pick up a box, try this.
Geoff, I wish I would have had this throughout my light heavyweight career, especially in a time like maybe fight week where I need to be saving calories. I need to, suppress that appetite a little bit, but still be locked on mentally, right? On a fight week for a fighter, we're doing our biggest interviews with the biggest outlets while not eating. This would have really been a huge game changer for me, not only for the weight cut, but for those press conferences and all those interviews. I swear when I take this, I'm sharp. My answers are swift and well thought out. This would have been a game changer throughout all those weight cuts for sure.
I think like a lot of the fans don't think about fight week. It is such a weird moment in a fight athlete's career because like to your point, you are starving to cut weight. And then the back-to-back media, I didn't really understand until just being a part of fight camp, just realizing it's just like,
It breaks fighters.
no, I think people don't understand that when you're on camera and meeting fans, talking to reporters, like it takes a lot of energy to push out personality.
And you're going through a psychological fight at the same time.
Yeah, you're looking at the other guy being like,
everything you say,
Yeah.
either your opponent or his team is going
watching.
to analyze
Yeah.
and try to get something from you got the pressure of the fans and the pressures of trying to be marketable on a camera
Yeah.
while dieting, probably the most extreme that you've done in a long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think when fighters understand the power of the ketone IQ and that it's a healthy supplement, this is not some trash drink, this is a healthy product, this is a supplement. I think it's going to really change the future of MMA for sure.
100%.
Like, why does it feel illegal? I feel like I just took like an illegal supplement or like a limitless pill. What's exactly happening in the brain at the time?
I mean, thank God that it is legal and is actually very, very natural. So ketones are preferentially used by our brain cells, and it really lights up our brain. Per unit oxygen, our brain cells generate more ATP. That's the energy currency of the cell. So you're literally getting more energy per unit fuel when you're drinking ketones. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it really nicely actually affects dopamine, serotonin in ways that makes you much more alert, much more focused. So it's essentially science fiction in a drink format that makes you sharper, cleverer, faster, more focused. I think there's a reason why it's the fastest growing supplement in the country right now. It just fucking works.
Man, absolutely it does. I feel the difference right after I take it. It's like a light switch. Like 15 minutes,
Yeah. Boom.
firing, right on.
Boom.
Locked in, get you some.
Get you some.
So I've been a lifelong athlete. Started when I was 19 years old. I'm 38 years old now. I've tried almost everything on the market. I've come to realize that this is better than any pre-workout that I've ever tried. I feel muscular endurance as well as mental endurance. Tell me about that. What's happening in my body throughout these workouts on ketones?
And we've actually done clinical studies with the University of North Georgia, a top research university in human metabolism. So our research team showed that ketone IQ drives enhanced anaerobic performance beyond endurance performance and mental performance. And that's actually a pretty novel result because typically what ketones are associated with is endurance and mental power. But it's very interesting that the added fuel, the dual fuel of ketones plus the typical carbohydrate reserves also boosts anaerobic performance. So this is not just like a placebo feeling. It's actually showing performance beyond placebo in a clinical randomized controlled trial, which is awesome.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because now I actually feel like I have 2 gas tanks, almost 2 energy sources to draw from.
That's exactly the metabolism of ketones.
Yes, the first time we did a podcast, I hated it. But this time it was so much better. And it makes me really look forward to our next one, Geoff.
Yeah, no, dude, I think you're really wise.
Thank you, buddy.
No, and it's not to be glazing you. I mean, I think it's like through adversity, through challenges, through unique life experiences, right? Like you've lived a very unique path of life. And like a philosophical way I look at it is like when I make decisions, I want to choose the rarer path. Everything in life is kind of hard, but like what is a story arc that is more scarce or more rare? And I value that more interestingly because there's 8 billion humans right now where a lot of us live kind of the same life as everybody else. And that I think is kind of sad. So I think it is our responsibility to try to live the more rare path that less other humans can experience. And if you are fortunate enough to be blessed to have a very scarce path, you should share the knowledge you accrue along that journey for everyone else, inspire them to have a more interesting story and a more interesting path. So that's why I think it's like, I love having conversations with you, because like very few humans have done what you've accomplished, and you're like a adventurer on the frontiers of human achievement, and you got to share that lessons to all the rest of us. So that's why I think these are fun conversations.
Love you too, Geoff. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here.